So, welcome everyone. This is our first meetup, and the plan is to go through a few starting point machines. These are the entry machines to hack the box, and our first machine is Meow. So, these are some prerequisites for Meow. We need to understand Telnet and basic Nmap commands. Telnet lets user connect from remote machine, which is called a Telnet client, to another machine called a Telnet server. And this gives the user access to the command line interface and resources of the server, the machine, the remote host that the user is connected to. So Telnet is unsecured, and all the data, including usernames and password, is sent over the network in plain text. And Nmap, Network Mapper, is a free and open source tool used for network discovery and security auditing. It scans hosts and networks to find open ports, running services, and operating system details. So it is used in pen testing, either Nmap or Masscan or other tools to discover available hosts and open ports. And we will be using it in all of our machines. So the next slide, these are the steps. We'll go through all of them. But first, we'll have to connect to Hack the Box. So the first step, connecting to Hack the Box, we pick Pawn Box. It will take some time to load. Then we'll click Open Desktop. I'll start Terminal. Let me zoom in. And here, we'll start with Meow. So we'll click Play and Spawn Machine. It will take some time. So this is the target IP address. If we click here, we'll copy it. And here, there is at the bottom right, clipboard. If we click it and paste, we're pasting the IP address. So in our environment, the first step we can do is to check if the target is alive. Now that we're on the network, we can ping the target machine. So we can either ping and then paste the IP address, or we can ping -C3 and then paste the IP address. This -C3 part will send 3 ICMP echo requests. So I'm sending 3 pings and then I will stop. We hit enter. Now the packets are transmitted and the target host is alive. If as we go through the steps, if there are any questions, feel free to ask them. Then now we'll use Nmap. Like we've mentioned, we need Nmap. So we'll use Nmap. We'll use this command. We'll type sudo nmap -sv, and then we'll paste the target IP, or type it 10.129 in my case, .1.17. So what -sv does is that it enables service and version detection. So this will show in the results. If we hit enter, it will take some time. Great. So we can see the results. We can see that port 23 TCP is open and the service telnet is running. And this is the version. And we can identify the operating system of the target machine. What we will do is we'll try to use telnet to connect to the target machine. So let's say we don't understand how telnet works. So we'll type telnet --h, and here we can see a help menu. So we can see telnet option, host, port. So in our case, we have the IP. So we'll type telnet and then the target IP. Let me copy the IP again. So telnet, paste, enter. Okay, so we're trying to log in using telnet. We can try different user names and passwords. So we can try admin. It won't let us in. We can try administrator and administrator. It won't let us in. But if we try root and hit enter, we'll be able to connect. So right now we connected to the target, Meow, as root. So we'll try to explore what we can access. So if we type ls to list the contents of the directory we're in and hit enter, we'll see the file flag.txt. So we can do cat flag.txt, and this is the flag of the first machine. If we go back to the enterprise account, we see a few questions. So the first is, what does the acronym VM stand for? So it stands for virtual machine. Then, what tool do we use to interact with the operating system in order to issue commands via the command line, such as the one to start our VPN connection? It's also known as console or shell. So we used Pwnbox, but that tool is terminal. Okay. What service do we use to form our VPN connection to Hack the Box Labs? That's OpenVPN. What is the abbreviated name for a tunnel interface and the output of your VPN boot sequence output? So we didn't use the VPN, but we'll do. Okay, done. What tool do we use to test our connection with an ICMP echo request? The ping tool. What is the name of the most common tool for finding open ports on a target? Nmap. What service do we identify on port 23 TCP? So if we come here to our Nmap scan results, the service is telnet. What username is able to log into the target over telnet with a blank password? It is root, submit, and then now we copy the flag and paste it. Paste, submit. Great. Perfect. So we'll go through the next machine. We will stop this machine. The next machine is Fawn. So I'll click play, spawn machine. Okay, so this machine, the prerequisites to understand the machine is understanding the file transfer protocol. So file transfer is a protocol used for file transfer between devices on a network. It relies on the client-server model. Users authenticate with the username and password or connect anonymously based on the configuration of the server. And it's often secured with SSL TLS, FTPS, or replaced with SSH file transfer protocol, SFTP. And this is the definition according to Wikipedia. FTP could have misconfigurations, and sometimes it could be configured to allow anonymous connections. And this is what we will exploit in this machine. So like we've mentioned, is based on a client-server model. And during data transfer over a network, a host can take on the role of either a client or a server. This is the definition of a client. It's a host that downloads or uploads files to a server, and the server is a host that stores data being transferred. These are the steps of the machine. It has been spawned. So again, we'll copy and we'll paste the IP here. Again, we'll ping, paste. The next step is we'll use nmap, sudo nmap -sv, then the target IP. We have FTP, again, because we used SV, so we have FTP running on port 21, and this is the version, and we've identified the operating system. The next step is using FTP, and to do that, we want to make sure that we have FTP configured properly and up to date on our device. So we'll use this command, sudo apt install ftp-y. So done. FTP is already the newest version. And then we'll type FTP and the target IP. So, like we mentioned, FTP could allow for anonymous login, and we'll try to connect anonymously. So we'll type anonymous, and we'll hit enter for the password. So we're connected. First thing we'll do is to check what commands are available for us. So we'll type help. And if we scroll up, we have ls. So we'll type ls. We have the file flag.txt. So we'll download it on our device. Flag.txt now is on the remote host we're connected to. We want to download it on our device. So we'll type get flag.txt, hit enter. Then we'll exit the FTP session. We'll type ls. We have flag.txt, so cat flag.txt, and this is our flag. So if we come here, these are also simple questions. So what does the three-letter FTP acronym stand for? File Transfer Protocol. So port is 21. FTP sends data in the clear without any encryption. What acronym is used for related protocol designed to provide similar functionality to FTP but securely? An extension of the SSH protocol. So that is SFTP. What is the command we can use to send an ICMP echo request? Again, ping. From our scan, what version is FTP running on the target? So we'll come to our phone box machine. We'll go to the nmap scan. And this is the version. What OS type is running on the target from the scans? Unix. What is the command we need to run in order to display the FTP client help menu? FTP -?. So here, if I type FTP -?, this is a help menu that can help us understand how to use FTP. So we have user at host, then port, and FTP. in the beginning. So this is how to use the command. So that's what they're asking. What is username that is used over FTP when you want to log in without having an account? Anonymous. What is the response code we get for the FTP message login successful? So if we scroll up, this is the response code 230. There are a couple of commands we can use to list files and directories available on the FTP server. One is dir or dir. What is the other that is a common way to list files on a Linux system? ls. What is the command used to download the file we found on the FTP server? Get. Submit the flag. We'll copy the flag. We'll paste it and click submit. Great. So I'll terminate the machine. Okay. So the third machine, let me first clear the terminal. The third machine is dancing. Let me start the machine. Play, spawn machine. And while it spawns, we can go over the prereqs. So the prereqs we need to know is understanding server message block, what an SMB share is, and SMB client. Very simple. Server message block is a communication protocol that's used to share files, printers, serial ports between nodes on a network. An application or its user can use the SMB protocol to access files on a remote server. And this is the port that SMB uses, 445 TCP. SMB enables storage or a share. This is a folder or a drive or the storage device that's configured to be shared over a network using the SMB protocol. An SMB client is a command line tool used to interact with SMB shares on remote systems. That's similar to FTP client for SMB. We can use it on a Linux machine. So these are the steps for dancing. We come here, we can copy the IP address. And like the previous machines, we can ping the IP address. Oh, sorry, I forgot -C3. Okay, clear. Then we'll do nmap. So sudo nmap -sd and enter. Give it some time. Okay, so as we can see, we've mentioned that SMB uses the 445 TCP port. So here we have 445 open and this service is running. So we will try to use SMB and we're on a Linux system, so we'll use the SMB client. So we'll copy this command. We'll paste it here. Perfect. We have the target IP again. And what we'll do now is we want to list the shares on the target IP. So -L lists the shares. So we'll type SMB client -L, then we'll paste the target IP and we'll just hit enter for the password. So these are the shares. And what we can do is to try to connect to these shares. So this is the command. We'll type SMB client 4 backslashes, then the target IP, then 2 backslashes, then the name of the share. So admin $. We'll try to hit enter. Then we have this message, we failed to connect. We'll try to connect to the C share. Still access denied. We'll try to connect to the work shares. Hit enter. Okay, bad network name. There is no $sign. Hit enter. And we're in. So we'll type help to get a list of possible commands. And we have a lot of commands, including ls. So we'll type ls, and we have these directories. We can cd into amy.j, type ls. There is a worknotes.txt file, so we'll download it, download worknotes.txt, get worknotes.txt. Then we'll go back to the previous directory, parent directory, ls again, cd into James, and ls. We have a flag. So we'll get flag.txt, and we'll exit ls. We have both work notes and flag. Let's check what's in work notes. So we have, that's a file that could have hints for in further machines. We can find stuff like that. So let's check the flag. This is the flag. So what we can do is check the questions. First question, what does the three-letter acronym SMB stand for? It stands for Server Message Block. What port does SMB use to operate at? It's port 445. What is the service name for port 445 that came up in our Nmap scan? That's Microsoft-DS. And here, if we go scroll up, here, that's the service, Microsoft-DS. So we'll type it here, Microsoft-DS. What is the flag or switch we can use with SMB client to list the shares available? -L. How many shares are there on dancing? 4. What is the name of the share we are able to access in the end with a blank password? Was it work shares? Yeah, work shares. Question 7, what is the command we can use within SMB shell to download the files we find? Get root flag. Scroll down. This is the flag. And we paste the flag. Awesome. We terminate the machine. Then we go to Redeemer, hit play, spawn machine. So Redeemer, these are the prerequisites for Redeemer. First, knowing about databases, what a database is. It's a structured system to store, organize, and manage data so it can be easily retrieved, updated, and analyzed. What is an in-memory database? An in-memory database stores its data in RAM instead of a disk, and storing data in RAM allows for very fast performance. Redis is an open-source in-memory key-value database known for being extremely fast. So what usually happens is if a website, let's say, requires caching, we would use Redis for caching. And first, the web app would check if the data the user is referring to is stored on the Redis database. If it is, it will retrieve it. If not, then it will go to the other database. And In Redis, we can do authenticated enumeration. So if the Redis server permits anonymous connections, or if we have valid credentials, we can initiate the enumeration process for the service using the command info. So what does info do in Redis? Info returns a large structured report containing almost everything about the Redis server, including the key space. So the key space shows the number of keys in each database. The key space section is this section. Let me zoom in. So it's like this, DB0, or the number of the DB, keys, expires, and average TTL. So this image displays info for two databases, DB0 and DB1. Keys equal 4. We have 4 keys, 4 stored values. Expires equals 0. None of the 4 keys have an expiration time, and time to live average equals 0. So no key has an expiration timer. So Redis reports the average. We will be using info to enumerate, and we'll check the key spaces to find the flag. These are the steps. Let me clear the terminal. Okay, so we'll copy the IP address. Come here, ping -c3, paste IP address, hit enter. Great. Next step is nmap. So we can either do nmap with this command, or like we've done previously, -sv, or with this command. So what we'll do is -p this time to scan all the ports. And I've tried both previously. This one is very slow. This one is faster. So -v is for verbose output. -sc, we run the default NSE scripts. And -n, no DNS resolution, makes scanning faster. And -p scans all ports. So we'll come here, sudo nmap -v -sc -n -p-, and then we'll copy the IP address and we'll paste the IP address here. And let me review the command real quick. -v -sc -n -p- target. We discovered open port 6379. Awesome. So we have port 6379 TCP, open, running Redis. What we'll do is install Redis tools to connect, because we want to utilize the Redis command line. So we'll do sudo apt install Redis -tools. Yes. Awesome. Okay, so we'll do Redis -cli. Then we want the help menu, so we'll do -help. Okay, so -h host name. This allows us to connect to the target IP. So -h, then host name, and before that, Redis CLI. So we'll use that. So we'll type Redis -CLI, then -h, then the target IP. Okay, we're in, and like we mentioned, we will use info for enumeration. So we'll type info, hit enter. Great, we have the key space, and this is the database. It has 4 keys, none of them expire, and the average TTL is 0. So the next step is we want to select. So we want to select this database. So we'll select 0. Tells me okay. I want to list all the keys, so I do keys asterisk. Okay, we have flag. So I want to get the content of this flag. So I'll type get, and then I'll specify the name. I specify flag. So I don't specify one. I don't specify the number. I specify the flag, get flag, hit enter, and we have the flag. Awesome. So if we come here, which TCP port is open on the machine? 6379. We can check from the nmap command, nmap scan. Yeah, 6379. Submit. Which service is running on the port that is open on the machine? The service is Redis. What type of database is Redis? Choose from the following option. Is it an in-memory database or a traditional database? So it's an in-memory database. Which command line utility is used to interact with the Redis server? Enter the program name you would enter into terminal without any arguments. So it's Redis CLI, Redis-CLI. What flag is used within the Redis command line to specify the host name -h? -h. Once connected to the Redis server, which command is used to obtain the information and statistics about the Redis server? Okay. Info. What is the version of the Redis server being used on the target machine? So if we come here and we go to the info part, info, yeah, Redis version 5.0.7. Perfect. So it's 5.0.7. Submit. Which command is used to select the desired database in Redis? Select. How many keys are present inside the database with index 0? I believe 4. Let me double check. Yeah, 4. Which command is used to obtain all keys in a database? So it's keys asterisk. This command. Submit. Submit the flag located in the database. And this is the flag. Copy. Paste. Submit. Awesome. We'll terminate the machine and I'll exit here, then clear terminal. So these are the 4 machines that we will tackle today. They are introductory machines. Its purpose is to build the capability from the foundation and to get exposed to Nmap, Telnet, FTP, SMB, Linux terminal, and so on. Okay. Thank you guys for attending. Appreciate your time. Appreciate it.